It all begins during a dark night, when a woman gives birth with the help of her husband. At the moment of birth, a mysterious light emerges from the heavens and surrounds the couple. Soon after, the man reveals his concern, as the king sent soldiers to find and kill the child. With no other option, the family begins a desperate escape. Along the way, they witness soldiers brutally executing newborns. At a certain moment, a guard intercepts them and inspects their belongings, but finds nothing suspicious and lets them go. As soon as they move away, the man removes the baby from a hidden compartment in the donkey and hands him to the mother. Later, they spend the night in an isolated place, and at dawn, while saying his prayers, the father notices a creature watching the region from a distance. The story then advances 15 years. Since then, the family has been constantly moving to keep the boy safe. The father explains that the son possesses unusual abilities and that problems seem to arise wherever he goes. As the young man still does not understand the extent of his gifts, the man fears he will not be able to protect him for much longer. After a long journey, the three arrive at a new village in search of a fresh start. Upon arriving at the village, the father finds work as a carpenter in a local workshop. Meanwhile, the mother and the boy observe the movement of the market. The boy pays attention to every person around him, analyzing everything with curiosity, while the villagers return suspicious glances. Shortly after, the father returns with good news. He found a job and also a place for the family to live. On the way to the new house, the boy finds a grasshopper and shows it to his mother, impressed because he had never seen one like it. When they arrive at the place, they notice that other families live nearby. At that moment, a girl approaches and places a blanket over the woman's shoulders. Upon thanking her and asking her name, another resident explains that the young girl is called Lilith and cannot speak. Later, concerned about the family's safety, the man carefully closes all the windows of the house. At nightfall, he spreads salt at the entrance. Curious, the boy asks the reason, and the father explains that any evil spirit that crosses the door will leave visible traces on the salt. Before the meal, the man asks the son to hold his hand so they can pray together. After finishing the prayer, they sit down to eat. The boy offers part of the food to the father, but he refuses, saying that he is fasting. Then he states that the son is already growing and should also begin to fast. According to him, this practice strengthens the spirit to face Satan. Intrigued, the boy asks what Satan is like, and the father replies that he can have the appearance of any ordinary person. The father explains that Satan can assume any form linked to human weaknesses. Curious, the boy asks if he has ever seen Satan himself, but the man avoids answering and only tells him to help at the village school the next day. That night, the boy is tormented by a nightmare and ends up being comforted by the mother, who lets him sleep beside her. The next day, while assisting at the school, he notices a girl sitting in a tree and asks her to come down. After introducing himself, the boy asks why she does not attend classes. The girl replies that she has no father and then convinces him to take part in a game. However, she leads him to a gravely ill man, rejected by the villagers, and pushes him against him by surprise. Some children witness the scene and begin to claim that the boy should be expelled from the village. Later, while bathing the son, the father makes an anguished prayer, questioning whether the boy is an angel or a demon and whether he was truly sent by God. During the early hours of the morning, the boy suffers another nightmare and ends up leaving the house while still asleep. Upon finding him, the father takes him to a barn and orders him to spend the night praying. Alone in the place, the boy believes he is isolated, but soon realizes that someone was already hiding there. It is the sick man he touched earlier. The stranger reveals that his hand was completely healed after that contact and begs to be touched again. Then he kneels before the boy. Frightened, the boy manages to push him out of the barn, but soon realizes that the problem is much bigger. Several other sick people appear around the place, surrounding the building in search of the same miracle. Frightened by the crowd surrounding the barn, the boy locks himself inside and waits until everyone leaves. The next morning, the family finds a dead animal in front of the house. Later, while the parents talk, the boy holds a grasshopper in his hands and accidentally crushes the insect. Trying to fix what he did, he touches the creature again, and to his surprise, the grasshopper comes back to life. Shortly after, Lilith appears at the well to fetch water, and the boy offers to help her. Then the story shows several sick people gathered, commenting that the boy may be a sacred figure. Among them is the same girl who pushed him against the sick man. Sometime later, the father takes the son to accompany him on a job outside the village. During the path, they find the man who had been healed, now dead by the roadside. When they arrive at the destination, the father moves away to attend to his tasks, and the boy remains alone waiting. At that moment, the girl approaches again, talks with him, and invites him to meet her later, handing him a small toy shaped like a serpent. That night, a mysterious force drags Lilith out of the house. Unable to speak, she cannot ask for help. The next day, while at the market accompanied by her mother, the young girl suddenly feels ill and begins to vomit blood. The villagers run to help her, and her mother, desperate, begs for help. For a moment, it seems that everything returned to normal, but soon the situation takes a terrifying turn. When the mother embraces her, Lilith tears off a piece of her cheek with a brutal bite. It becomes clear that a malicious entity has taken control of her. In shock, the woman blames the boy for what happened. After this incident, the father takes the son home and asks if he had been at Lilith's residence. The boy denies it, but the man does not believe his version. When taking him to the barn, he finds the serpent-shaped toy, and his suspicion increases even more. Furious, he orders the son to pray, but the boy refuses and states that he no longer intends to obey him. The father replies that then he will listen to the mother. However, the boy declares that he intends to leave that house and depart alongside her. Without showing compassion, the father replies that the mother will not go anywhere, and that if he decides to leave, the boy will be alone. He states that the boy will end up wandering the roads without protection, begging for food until he dies of hunger. Then he leaves the barn, locks the door from the outside, and spreads salt at the entrance. Later, he tells the wife that the family must leave that village as soon as possible. The woman, however, insists that the son did nothing wrong. When the husband asks why she believes that, she only replies that she trusts him. Shortly after, the boy manages to open the door and runs away in search of the mysterious girl. Upon finding her, she says she wants to show him something important and leads him to a place where sick people, criminals, and individuals considered impure by society are kept chained. Among them, there is even a man nailed to a cross. In the middle of those prisoners, the boy finds Lilith chained. The young girl reveals that Lilith will not live much longer and states that only he can save her. Then she comments that all human beings are equal, but that some end up being marked as evil and condemned by others. Then she asks if that sight frightens him. The boy replies that it does not. In truth, all of that only saddens him, because he can feel the suffering of each one of those people, including the pain carried by the girl herself. When deciding to leave, he is surprised when she states that the man who raised him is not his true father. Confused, the boy asks who she really is. The girl replies that he already knows the answer. Soon after, she returns the question, wanting to know who he truly is. She reveals that she has been searching for him for a long time. Disturbed by those words, the boy moves away and runs from there. Later, he talks with the mother and says that they need to leave that village. The woman replies that they will depart soon. Then the boy asks if the man who lives with them is truly his father. She confirms that yes, but he accuses her of lying and leaves irritated. Shortly after, he visits Lilith and faces the entity that possesses her. Demanding answers, he asks the name of the spirit and orders it to speak. Through Lilith, the creature responds by questioning the reason for his presence and asks if he came only to increase even more their suffering. Then it states that he should choose between ending her life or leaving her in peace. Later, the boy returns to the barn and finds again the serpent-shaped toy. Annoyed, he takes it outside and throws it far away before going back inside. The next day, the story continues with the boy returning to school. At school, the teacher asks the boy to recite a prayer from memory, but he cannot do it correctly. Faced with this, the master states that he learned nothing. Shortly after, he takes the boy to his father and announces that he no longer intends to teach him. According to him, the boy revealed something he should never have known. When the father demands an explanation, the boy replies that he only told the teacher how many years of life he still had. From that moment on, the man decides that the son will work by his side every day. While performing their tasks, he orders the boy to recite religious teachings. During the activity, the boy notices a statue of worship nearby and, overcome with indignation, uses his powers to knock it down. The action enrages the father, who expels him and says that he is free to do whatever he wants. With nowhere to go, the boy seeks Lilith again. Upon finding her, he uses his powers to extract a malignant serpent that inhabited her body and then frees the young girl from the chains. However, her mother is already dead. Upon realizing this, Lilith breaks down in tears. The boy asks her to leave that place as quickly as possible. Soon after, the sick and excluded begin to see him as a hope. Before them, the boy declares that no one should judge others, for only he has that right. Meanwhile, the father continues working in the workshop when the owner appears and orders him to leave the village with his family. Upon insisting on staying, the man is warned that his son is seen as a sorcerer and that the villagers intend to kill him. Later, the boy returns home and finds the mother. Before he can explain what happened, the father arrives furious, accusing him of practicing black magic. Frightened, the boy runs away again. The argument then turns to the couple. The woman accuses the husband of always distrusting her and his own son. In the midst of the fight, the man accuses her of betrayal, impurity, and of having destroyed his faith. She replies saying that he became a person consumed by doubt and insists that the boy was sent by the angels. Without showing any emotion, the man orders her to pack her things to leave. Determined to find the son, he goes out alone in search of him. When he finally locates him, he asks him to return home. However, at that instant, a serpent attacks him, and the venom begins to spread rapidly through his body. Taking advantage of the situation, the boy asks again who his true father is. Unable to hide the truth, the man answers that the one responsible for everything is called Yahweh. Shortly after, the boy heals his wounds and follows his own path. Meanwhile, an enraged crowd invades the family's house. Upon returning, the man finds the wife unconscious and removes her from there before fleeing. In another part of the village, the boy visits the place where the sick lived and discovers that all of them were killed. The mysterious girl appears and reveals that she was responsible for the massacre. Then she states that he finally knows the truth and promises to take him to his true father. At dawn, the man says his prayers when the wife awakens and asks about the son. He replies that the boy discovered the truth and left, but swears that he will do everything possible to find him. Determined to find the son, the man begins a long search through the region. Meanwhile, the mysterious girl takes the boy to an isolated place and states that now he finally understands the true nature of humanity. The boy admits that he killed a young man during his journey there. Instead of condemning him, she says that he only freed that person from a cruel world. Then she reveals that she has also freed countless souls in the same way. Curious about his origin, the boy asks again about his true father. The girl explains that she met his father a long time ago and lived close to him, but ended up being rejected. Even so, according to her, it was he who created an organized place for her existence. Then she invites him to follow her. When the boy demands to know who she really is, she introduces herself as the adversary of the light and the great accuser. Soon after, she points to a waterfall and asks him to observe carefully. She states that that place is a passage and encourages him to cross it. Upon entering, the boy witnesses terrifying visions. The girl questions him again about his identity and the reason for his presence there. This time, he replies that she is an evil force that exists to torment him. Satisfied, she asks him to say her name. The boy finally answers that she is Satan. At that moment, the man arrives at the place and finds a monstrous creature near the sun. Before he can react, the beast attacks him and leaves him unconscious. Shortly after, the boy awakens and finds the father gravely injured. Satan tries to convince him that that man always lived surrounded by lies and fear. She states that, if he kills him, she will finally tell the whole truth. The boy refuses to do so. Irritated, Satan herself stabs the man. Desperate, the boy tries to save him, but is violently attacked. The entity slams his head against a tree and then makes a serpent emerge from her own mouth. Before the creature can attack him, the boy grabs her by the hair, pulls out the serpent and throws it away. Satan strikes him repeatedly, scratches his chest, hits him with a stone and tries to drown him. In a mysterious way, every wound suffered by the boy also appears on the body of his mother, even while distant. Despite the pain, he manages to react and counterattacks, pressing his thumbs against the adversary's eyes. Even almost without strength, the father begs the son to spare the creature. The boy decides to listen to him and runs to help him. In his last moments of life, the man explains that evil constantly tries to corrupt people and that the true answer is not in strength, but in forgiveness. The boy tries to use his powers to save him. However, the father refuses the cure and asks him to let him go. Holding his hand, the boy watches his death. Consumed by sadness, he returns to Satan and embraces her while crying. The entity then states that, one day, he will die for ungrateful people and that his sacrifice will never be properly recognized. After hearing those words, the boy simply walks away. At that same instant, all of his mother's wounds disappear completely. Later, he reunites with her, and the two decide to leave that region to begin a new journey elsewhere. Thus comes to an end this story marked by faith, suffering, temptation, and sacrifice.